Undercut haircut tips, that is the topic of today's video. Let's talk about the undercut, all right? I've done about probably 8,000 videos on this haircut, but I keep getting questions and comments, can I wear an undercut? What is my hair type? What does the hair type need to be to get an undercut? All of these things, I keep getting questions for them. My biggest advice, if you are new to my channel, simply just go onto YouTube, in the search bar and type in TheSalonGuy, all one word, space, undercut. And you will see every single undercut video I have ever done, and chances are your question will be answered in that video. But a lot of you are new viewers, so I gotta keep talking about this topic, and so let's get right into it. So the undercut basically is a disconnected haircut, right? The top length is completely disconnected from the bottom, like as you see in this lovely green-haired mannequin. It doesn't matter what length, this is important, it doesn't matter what length the sides and the back are in relation to the top, but it has to be shorter or disconnected. Disconnected means that this part right here is not blended in to this part. You can have a, disconnected undercut. That's basically what it is. The types of hair that work best for these are just like the ones I use in my videos. And particularly, let's go back, let's raise this up a little bit here, particularly fine to medium hair or even thick hair, but relatively straight. That's basically it, because straight hair is just going to, you run your fingers through it and it's just going to fall right into place. Straight hair works best for this. Fine hair, because the hair moves very easily, it's easy to manage. If you've got thick hair, it works well by reducing a lot of the bulk into here. So many times, if you feel like your hair is super thick, especially out through the sides, you can get an undercut, something like this, to where it's not, you don't have to have a skin fade or, some sort of super short disconnection in through here to have an undercut. You can have it like this. Your hair could be 2 inches long here, and then, 9 inches long up here. It's just, as long as there's a disconnection, that's what makes it the undercut. So having straight hair, silky, you can get your hair a bit silkier by using products and the way you blow dry it. That helps, but straight hair usually tends to work best. Another question and comment that I see all the time is, can I grow my hair into an undercut? Well, let's talk about that. Your hair needs to be long enough to do something on top, like go back or slick back. Because if the hair is not long enough on top, look what's happening. It's gonna just flop down like this in the front, and it's just gonna look horrible, okay? And then, the sides, if it's too short on top, if you get rid of all this hair, it's just gonna look, it's not gonna be flattering, in my opinion. The best way to tell if your hair is long enough for an undercut is to, wet your hair, use a comb or brush, whatever, and slick it back. If your hair starts to stay back without a problem, it's very, very simple. If it stays back with no problems, then it's long enough for an undercut, and then keep growing it from that stage. If you brush your hair back and it falls forward this way, it's simply not ready for an undercut. And what do I mean by combing it back? Take a comb, take any sort of, something, whether it's a hair cutting comb or a wide tooth comb, and if the hair is wet, you could spray it and see what happens. If the hair, again, goes back, and this could be right out of the shower too, it doesn't have to be with a spray, you may not have a spray bottle like this, but if the hair does go back, then it may be ready for an undercut. But don't let this fool you, because when the hair is wet, right, the hair can easily be manipulated. So if I'm combing this back like this and it's all wet, what's gonna happen is if I create an undercut based off of this, say I find my sectioning right here, there's my parting, and I wanna create an undercut based off of this parting here, I get rid of all this hair, right? Unless I'm using something so firm as far as a product goes, this will only stay back. But look what happens, right? When you comb it, the hair just wants to drop down because that's the way, that's the way hair is. Most of the time the hair grows downwards like this or back, but the hair wants to always come down. So you got to make sure that it's long enough to actually stay back throughout the entire perimeter of the head. And the undercut usually goes from the corner of the eyebrow to the corner of the eyebrow, right in through this area, right in through here, the recession, or where the hairline starts to curve. That is essential. If you have any of these parts of your hair that want to just flop down like this, it's not ready, right? Your best bet is to maybe get the sides tapered a bit and blend it up into about a certain area, and tell the barber or tell the stylist that you want to start growing into an undercut. So maybe what they can do is they can start to pave the way for your hair by creating that section here and doing like I did on the last mannequin, not cutting it skin short, but cutting it where it's still disconnected. This way it looks like kind of a cool haircut. Try that. It's going to be very, very helpful for you. Can you have an undercut with a haircut like this? Again, yes. It all comes down to because it's disconnected. That simply means it's an undercut. All right? Anytime you have hair that is sectioned off and is much shorter and not blended into the other part, no matter where it is, to me, it's still an undercut. All of this hair could be buzzed off right into here, and the top is this long and it sweeps over. That technically still, to me, is an undercut. But this mannequin right here, everything is blended in, right? It's all blended in and all worked in, so it technically really isn't an undercut, right? It really isn't an undercut. And then if you slick the hair back like this in the front, even though it's a bit longer, it's not really disconnected. So that doesn't really make it an undercut. So the key really to this thing is having the hair long on top, making sure it can go back. Now let's take very textured hair. Unless, yes, you can have an undercut, right? And let's see how curly and textured this is. The only way you can really do this and be successful at it is if, again, your hair is long enough and you take the effort to blow dry the entire thing straight. It's the same exact process, same exact haircut. You section all this off and you get rid of all of the hair that is not needed in the haircut, just like on any other hair type. Get rid of all this, depending on the type of look you want, but you have to make sure, again, the hair is long enough and you have to straighten it. The key to tell, because I look at this and I go, there's no way, you may think there's no way on your hair that you could have one, but keep in mind, when the hair is curly, it's kind of shrink down. So when you straighten it, you can see it expands and extends the length of the hair, making it really showing the true length. But it's a process. You have to put a lot of work into doing it. If you've got very, very textured hair, you could also get a straightener. I know a lot of people always ask me, how do I make my hair straight? Well, either blow dry it or get a straightening service done, right? Whether it's a relaxer or keratin, and some keratin treatments, a lot of them are just designed to really add protein and help condition the hair. So a relaxer really is, what's best if your hair is really, really curly. But make sure you go to a place who's using very conditioning ones. The formaldehyde sometimes is an issue with the smell. I don't do them because I can't stand the smell of it. But that's really the only way to get your hair to go from this to this, blow drying it or chemically. Folks, I really hope that this video was helpful to you guys because of all the comments and questions I get on these undercut haircuts. Let me know. Let me know if this answered your questions. Let me know if you found this video helpful. Once again, I'm posting 5 times a week. Also on my store, shop.thesalonguy.com. If you use code MarchMadness15, you get 15% off your entire order. You can use it as many times as you want. And it's also free shipping in the United States. So join up for the newsletter as well because we always send out exclusive discounts to people somewhere in sometimes the 20 to 30% even range. So if you do want to be part of that community, then I suggest you sign up for the newsletter. And we only send out 1 a month. So it's not like we're going to be spamming you. But let me know if you found this video helpful, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for more videos with the Salon Guy.